which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You just had to start. Yeah. First item is to adopt tonight's agenda. So, and I don't believe there are any changes.
I'll make a motion we adopt the agenda as presented.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt tonight's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Guest presentation. No guest presentation?
No, I had a couple kids that were coming, but they had to back out at the end of the day today. But we had that club that we approved quite a few months ago. It was like the Community Service Club. Yeah, what do they call it? Tiger Pride Club. So they've been meeting, and they had a food drive during homecoming, and they've got some things planned. I went into a meeting the other day. They were having a lunch, and there was about 20 kids in there, so there's quite a bit of interest. So anyway, they're up and going, and got some things going on. Yeah, so. Great.
Next item is an action item, which is to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda is the minutes of the September meeting, payment of the bills, certified personnel action, and classified personnel action. So I'll let you guys review the bills.
We don't have any certified personnel action in here, but we do have those surplus items in there.
Oh, so that wasn't really on.
No, yeah. We may have to, that's fine. Those surplus items you see in the board packet, those were just a bunch of tech stuff that Dan was surplusing. And it looks like I put them in the board packet, but not on the agenda. So what I'll probably do is I'll just put them on the agenda next month too. It's not going to change anything.
Okay.
I just want to clarify that.
they're young, they're not preschool,
Yeah.
so they're not quite free to
Yeah.
jump in, but their bodies, sometimes they.
Yeah, just at the elementary for those couple,
Yeah.
those two on there, the Kristen Trout, she's in the high school one.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, it was actually, pretty good at the high school compared to what it normally is.
Good.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve tonight's consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Seeing there's no patron input, we'll move on to the report, financial report. Kim?
Okay, I did not give you guys any reports because I just rolled yesterday and the roll didn't go real pretty. So I'm working with Visions to get my rollover correct and have been talking to them the last 2 days. So that's why you don't have any reports in front of you. But we did receive $6,500 in county tax payments in September. We also received $780 for our ISBA insurance plan dividend payments. And we also received $19,700 for our bond levy equalization payment in September. We've also received $4,400, I believe is what it was, for our substitute, what do you call that, Steve? Substitute recruitment.
Yeah, I think that's what they're calling it.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it, and Steve will explain that more on how we can spend that.
Any questions for Kim?
Is that the one from the governor?
Mhm.
Approved?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kim. Technology director's report.
We're just plowing through help desk tickets and trying to keep our heads above water at this point, so I really don't have anything other to tell you, unless you have questions. All right, thanks.
All right. Julietta, principal's report.
Okay, you received one of these, and it's pretty minimal this month, but we're doing fantastic things at Julietta Elementary, as always. But our enrollment has stayed the same, has stabilized at 135. You can see the breakdown there in the numbers. Our attendance is about the same as last month, about 94%. Every day is different. It's kind of in that younger kindergarten and second grade. Kind of miss a lot of school. In fact, I think I have 11 letters to send out for attendance letters. So that's quite a few. I've never sent that many in a month. So anyways, I've had 2 discipline referrals this last month. We're just going to proceed on with the early reading and intervention, we did that last year as well. We did 2 weeks in the fall and then 2 weeks in the spring. That is those kindergarten through 3rd grade, that intense intervention. We get the teachers on board and help with that. We are having an evacuation drill this Friday, October 22nd. Thank you to Dan. He helps organize that, and that is that evacuation down to the church. So all of our students will be involved. We'll talk to you about that. Yeah, but our police and city workers. So I attended the Federal Programs Conference on the 11th through the 12th, and that was in Boise. That was great information. I went through that the monitor last spring, and so that was kind of refreshing. But I wasn't put on the spot this time, but I could just get information, and nothing really has changed, which was kind of nice to hear. Also attending a family community engagement conference. I'm taking Chantel Hannon to the conference on October 25th and 26th. That's also in Boise. And we have parent conferences coming up next week. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Any questions for Dory? Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Okay, at the high school, our enrollment is, it says 123 there. We have about 3 kids pending, so they're planning on enrolling in the near future, so we're really at 120 today. which I think that may be about up 1 from last month, maybe even, is where we are right now. We had Community Building Day, the Friday of homecoming that morning, and that went fine. We did that for about 3 hours or so, I guess, in the morning, and then the kids come back for lunch, and then we have games in the afternoon, that Friday of homecoming. One of the challenges we have with Community Building Day is we have a few too many kids for the amount of work to be done at the different sites, and so it's a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes when you get too many kids somewhere, less work gets done. So we're looking at maybe doing a highway cleanup next year, organizing that with the state, to maybe find a different, like an added location for kids, because we need to spread them out more. So we'll see. We had a lockdown drill on October 11th here at the high school. Discipline report, we had 5 referrals in the past month, 1 suspension, and no bus referrals. Our attendance in the past month is 93.7%. The last couple of days, though, at both schools, actually, it's been kind of low. We've had quite a bit of sickness going around right now. So we were at about 87% the last couple of days. Elementary was around 84%. But the average, though, has been pretty normal. One of the things I didn't include in here is our learning lab that we started doing this year after school, and the attendance at that has started to pick up, which is good. You know, we started out the year, we had, you know, maybe 1 kid the first week, then we had a couple kids, now we're up to about 5 or 6 kids. And Mrs. Baker and Mrs. Blair rotate days on that here in the library after school for 1 hour helping kids, so it's been kind of nice. One other thing I didn't include in here is, and I don't have numbers here tonight, but we added that math lab course for junior high, and it does appear right now that our grades in math are higher than what they have, you know, on average been. I don't have any numbers to back that up, but anecdotally, that's what it seems like. What that looks like is those kids have, you know, math with Mrs. Maniple, and then they go to Mr. Forsman. Some of our junior high kids, some of our 7th grade, some of our 8th grade go to that math lab class, and then the first half of that class, they're working on, you know, skill building, and then the second half, it's finishing up homework from math and just making sure, you know, half the battle with you know, a lot of the kids that are struggling is just missing assignments and not getting homework done, and so that's been beneficial. Design West, I actually, you know, we made contact with Design West. We were struggling with getting them to get back to us. Phone calls, emails. Like it was a little bit bizarre, but they did get back to us. I put a schedule of events by your stations, so you can see what's going on there in the near future. And we are meeting with our rep from Design West, Cameron, on Friday. And so it looks like we're making some progress there. We'll see. I had typed this up before he got back to us. Quarter 1 ends this week, so we do have conferences next week. Dory mentioned that. Food service, I included a letter there, and I'm not going to bore you with the entire thing, but I highlighted some of the important things to kind of be aware of. The shortages that we're seeing with everything are really affecting food service, and so we're getting shipments, but they're not complete shipments. So we're getting, you know, we'll order, say, 4 cases of hamburgers, and maybe only 1 case shows up on the truck. So we're scrambling week to week, putting menus together and making changes because the food that we're ordering isn't coming. So just kind of a heads up there. I put the 5-year enrollment look there. As you can see, over the last 5 years, we've gained a few kids each year. So right now, if I would have went back further than that, you would have seen enrollment dropping. So we're at about the same place right now as we were probably about 10, 11 years ago or so. So that's good to see. One of the things that we have in here under action items is that substitute recruitment money that Governor Little allocated, the $10 million to Idaho schools. Ironically, right now, we are in a little bit better spot as far as subs go and bus drivers go than what we've been in. And so, that's kind of interesting timing, I guess. I think maybe just dumb luck, I'm not sure. But, so we have a recommendation here as far as that money, because, you know, at the end of the day, like, we've got that money there sitting to, it's been allocated, and yeah, I mean, it's basically money on the table, so you use it or not. In the action item that we're gonna get to later on, I suggested this first amount, which is about $4,300, I think, using a portion of it to increase sub pay to help retain subs, and also give all of our classified staff a small amount, which is basically all on the table. If you read the description of the funds, it's to help retain people and recruit subs and bus drivers and things like that. So I think that what we're trying to do is, you know, go with the intent of the funds, and not, you know, just leave it on the table, I guess. But if people have other ideas, that's fine. I'm all ears. We just have to spend it quickly, because it all has to be spent by December 15th. One of the things that maybe you saw is JFAC, you know, they met the last couple days to start, you know, prepping for the legislative session. And there's a couple of them that put statements out that, you know, maybe statements of concern that a lot of the federal money has not been spent in Idaho. But we also talked, you know, when we had our superintendent meeting today with Julie Overley, who is, you know, the finance director for the state. And she said, you know, with the public stabilization fund being frozen for a few years, we're going to probably get to the end of the year and we're not going to get all of the money that we anticipate in our budget, because that discretionary money is going to be cut. With the flood of kids into Idaho every year, you know, they do as well as they can estimating how much money it's going to take to, you know, basically give districts the amount that they say they're going to give them. But it usually takes a small amount of money from that stabilization fund to give districts the amount that they plan on. With that frozen, we're probably going to get to July and they're going to tell us we can't actually give you the full amount that we expected to. So districts are holding on to some of that federal money knowing that. So it's kind of a conundrum, I guess. But anyway, just something to be aware of. I already noted this, but personnel-wise, I think we have all of our positions filled right now.
Working on one, yeah. We have an
Working
assistant.
on one.
Assistant,
Yeah. So anyway, we're in a decent spot as far as bus drivers go, and also subs. So knock on wood. That's all I have. Any questions?
So will we have enough money to pay for the food? Is that gonna be an issue?
For food?
Yeah.
Well,
Is it
prices
going
are
up?
going up.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
that could be an issue.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, you know, I feel like my first 7 or 8 years here, food service was in the red at the end of the year, and then the last couple we've been in the black.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, prices are going up.
You know, with the shortage, would it be possible to, you know, hoarding is kind of a bad thing, but order during the summer and build up a surplus in the back room?
Might be something to think about, yeah. Yeah, I'll talk with Kelsey about it, about just trying to maybe build some stuff up as long as we have space for
I would think, you know,
Yeah, once you
with
got
kids,
space
you
for it.
need to do something like
it. Yeah,
that.
yeah, I'll talk to her about it. That's a good idea. Other questions?
All right, thanks.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I pass out a few flyers, you probably also received that in your email for the conference in Boise. ISBA is gonna be November 17th through the 19th. For those that are attending, it will be mask required, and I believe that's whether you're vaccinated or not, it's required. However, if you want to not wear a mask, they will want to do a rapid COVID test on site. If you'd like to do that, it's available. If not, you can attend virtually or wear a mask.
You can get a test on your own though before you go.
Yeah, you can go in 72 hours beforehand if you'd like to. It outlines what happens if you do have a positive test there, if you wanted to have a rapid test done. They would make you virtually attended from your hotel room. So there's that information there. It also talks about, there's an app that you can download. I believe we used it last year, the Whoeva app, right? Yep, and so for those that want to have that, you can download it to your phone, and it just gives some information about the conference. So there's that, okay, so we're aware. Second thing is, I also sent you guys an email out today for the 30th annual Idaho Ed Law, and that's gonna happen in the springtime, if anybody's interested. That happens down in Boise, and there's registration, so let me know if anybody might be interested in attending that. I know Mr. Kirkland, you've attended in the past, right?
Yeah, I like it.
I was, it was a
Good class to attend, it really is.
Like I said, that's in the springtime, in April 25th and 26th. If that's something to keep in the back of your mind as the date gets closer, we can register for that. And that's all I have.
I'm probably going if anybody else wants to.
Did we want to talk about next month's meeting and set a
We
time
have
for
to.
that? Or maybe later?
At some point.
Yeah, we were gonna do it on Monday of that week. Yeah, do we need to, is that something we can just set, or is that something that needs to happen as an action item to change that date? Or can we just change it?
The change in meeting
I think
notice.
as long as we advertise it, then just
Yeah.
change it.
Okay.
I mean, the agenda's already set, so.
Okay, yeah.
You're talking about 15th?
November 15th on a Monday. And if we had a certain time, possibly, or the same time.
Does anybody have any preference on time of day for that meeting?
Not to me, 'cause I don't have to work.
That's good.
Shelby, Joe? No.
I mean, since I'm headed down, I'm gonna try and work a little bit down in Boise while I'm down there, so, it doesn't matter though, I mean, if it's easy just to keep it at 7, then I'm fine with that.
There's any,
If you wanna do early, I can,
I don't think so. There's no games
Not on that
day, right?
Monday, no. There's a game Tuesday, and then maybe a game Wednesday.
I feel like I would have to make sure there was no games that night.
Yeah.
Well,
just
okay.
keep it maybe at the same time.
Okay, sounds good.
And that's all.
Thanks, Sam.
Are there any, other trustee reports?
I did hear a lot of positive about the community cleanup
Good.
from
Good.
people out in the, Kendrick and Juliet both, so.
Okay, then we'll go into our action items. The first item is to approve the nursing services agreement. Who do you wanna talk about that?
Sure. We contract this out as a vendor rather than like an employee. So this agreement, it's the same agreement we've had in place, it's just a new person. It was easier to find a nurse this time than it was last time. We actually had a couple people interested. Only one really followed through on stuff, but last time it took us a long time to find somebody and we were beating doors down. This person actually came in contact with her because she had just signed on to be the nurse in Deary. And so they gave me her name and so she's basically gonna do probably both districts in the same day each month, right?
approve the nursing services agreement.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the nursing services agreement. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried. Next item is to approve the trustee zones.
So last time, we went through this, and then Dawn pointed out that it might be easier to just take all of that section over in Clearwater County and make it in the same zone, which I think is zone, gosh, I want to say 4, is that right?
Yeah.
And it ended up, I did that, it ended up making it better, because then for the clerk in Clearwater County, it'll be easier. And it actually also made this mapping easier too. It made all of it a little bit simpler. So I've sent that to Karen Echeverria, and just waiting now.
I'll make a motion, we approve the updated trustee zones.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the updated trustee zones. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approve BSN item purchase. This is for rugs and banners.
Yeah, so this updates basically all of the rugs around the school. Most of them are getting run down. So this updates all that stuff. It updates our banners out on the street lights, all of those things.
I'll make a motion to approve the BSN purchases.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the BSN item purchases. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Approve the 21-22 leadership premium applications. I think those were listed on the board packet. And then there was an additional one
That's good.
that
Yeah.
Amy sent out today.
I'll make a motion to approve the leadership premium applications.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the 21-22 leadership premium applications. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Consider substitutes relief fund allocation. Okay, Steve, maybe we should go through that again.
Yeah, so Governor Little allocated $10 million in federal relief funds to help attract and keep substitute teachers, as well as other hard-to-fill classified positions in the districts. A lot of people, I guess, not just him, but see, like, one of the issues with schools staying open is staff members, especially like bus drivers. We're seeing districts, and we've been there. We haven't been to where we've closed, but we have because of sickness. But like, there's districts right now that are canceling routes daily because they don't have the number of drivers they need to continue. And so, and that goes for substitute teachers as well. And so I think that's the motivation behind it. So added, it was the other attachment on that email, but it was a spreadsheet that showed the allocation for each district. So you can see that we were there around $4,300, and it has to be spent by December 15th. So that's the first allocation. We assume the second allocation is going to be the same amount, but we haven't actually been told that yet. And so we expect to get that information maybe in the next week or two, probably. So I'm all ears if anybody has any different ideas. I thought, since we happen to be in a decent place right now as far as substitutes and bus drivers go, that we could allocate $100 for each classified person, because they're all hard to fill positions, frankly, right now. And then the leftover money used to increase sub pay for the next month, just to help retain those subs. And it's really a pretty simple process. The money's already sitting in our GRA, and so it's just a matter of us drawing that money down.
How much do we pay ourselves?
We're at
85
85.
a day.
85? What are they paying the most in?
I wanna say 125, 145, it was a lot.
I'm not sure what Lewiston is. Yeah. When we, go ahead.
Maybe we ought to think about boosting up the pay for the subs to keep a few of them around.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we did increase that sub pay. I don't remember when it was. Was it over the summer?
Last year.
Was it last year?
The hard part
Yeah.
is just across the board, we're seeing wages go up for, I
Right,
mean,
yeah.
you know, it's, and I get not every person can just go start working some of those other jobs, but man, in Moscow, about the cheapest rate is $15, you know,
Mhm.
an hour.
Mhm.
And not that I say we have to be there, but
Mhm.
I don't know, I agree. I think it's something we need to consider.
With these dollars here, districts are doing a lot of different things, kind of depending on what they need to do. You know, like Lewiston, for example, the last time I talked with them, they're having issues with bus drivers. They don't have enough bus drivers for the routes, and so they're using most of these dollars for bus drivers. Some districts that are okay right now with bus drivers and subs are doing something similar to this. Some are putting it all towards subs just to try to get more subs, because that's their issue. So
I think this is a good plan, you know, but I agree. I think it's something we have to keep on our radar.
Going what you're saying, $15 an hour times 8, that's $120 a day. That's an 8-hour day, right? You know, that's not really that much. And you're gonna keep them here, and when you want one, get one. That's what you're gonna have to do.
So, and this is the first half, so assuming that the second half is the same amount, then we would just do this again next month, the same exact thing. When Amy and I were talking, we thought, based on these numbers, with the amount of subs that we're having in the building, if we did this with our classified staff and then added an additional, what did we say?
It's 15, it was going to be 100 for the sub.
And an additional $15 to the sub pay each day that they sub to take them to $100.
Till the end of December, funds, right?
Yeah, until they run out, or
Yeah.
till December 15th. So if you guys are okay with that, I think the motion would be to allocate these recruitment funds, which is a little bit misleading, I guess, to pay each classified person $100 and increase the sub rate $15 per day until the money runs out.
Motion made.
As presented. I'll second.
So it's been moved and seconded that we give all of the classified staff $100 retention bonus and increase the pay for substitutes $15 a day until the money runs out. Is that kind of what everybody understands? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any board member input for future agenda items? Okay, I guess is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Reminder, we have the special meeting next week for the audit.